I want to start out by giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rukwak. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect. And Shalom to the 130 Asherallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians, who before losing their true heritage were known as the Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, I want to go ahead and touch upon the tribe of Naphtali and some historic events which were recorded but have since been buried but have recently come to light. The tribe of Naphtali today would be known as your native Argentinians and native Chileans, the Indians of the South Americas. There's before I get into this article, I want to read about the prophecy that foretells who Naphtali would be, which we'll get into in a little bit after the article. This is Genesis 49 and 21. Naphtali is a hind let loose. He giveth goodly words. Now, this tells the story of how our forefather Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel because he was the chosen seed or the chosen son of Isaac, who was the chosen son of Abraham. But it tells how Jacob blessed his 12 sons, and also he prophesies about what would be the latter end of them in the end days. Now, as I just read, it was a very small, sentence that foretold what his child Naphtali would be, or the descendants of Naphtali would be. Now, let's go back to this and let's examine this. A hind is a female deer that lives high in the mountains. Now, the Argentinians and the Peruvian landmass are known for its Andes Mountains, which have deer that live up there. Now, the Peruvians and the Argentinians, they actually live high up in those mountains, and so much so that they use it to their advantage. And they were one of the only tribes not conquered during the European expansion over here during the 1500s. Also, where it says he giveth goodly words, the Argentinians were known, specifically the Incas, who the Argentinians, they declared themselves being the direct descendants of them. So, for example, the Incas would be the Argentinians, and when you break it down to like historic records, the Peruvians are the Mayans. Well, the Peruvians, the Mayans would be the Peruvians, and also the Middle Americans, like the Salvadorians and whatnot. And the Aztecs would be like the Mexicans that lived in northern Mexico. But as it tells you here, the Incas, they were known for giving many goodly sayings, like proverbs. There was a book that came out that said that they were known for their wise sayings and wise poetry, and how when the Inca Empire came in, that was an empire of flourishing, because that's when the emperors of the Incas taught their people philosophy, language, taste, and all these different things. And they were a great teaching nation before they were conquered or they were overran by the Mayans, and then later on, I believe the Aztecs took over, or it was the Mayan, Incas, then Aztecs. But let's get to this article. And this article here was released by a Israeli magazine known as Mariv. Mariv is kind of like it's a fairly famous it's like a Newsweek article or magazine over there in Israel. But this is what they wrote. I'm just going to read it. It says, as regards to South American Indians and their possible relationships to the lost tribes of Israel, an article was published in the Israeli newspaper Mariv December 1974, in the fall, with the following content. Right, and before but let's go and read this actually. In 1587, the Jesuit Nicholas Deltsu was sent to South America by the King of Spain for missionary purposes to convert the Indians to Christianity. In Argentina, Nicholas discovered a people who bore Jewish names, namely Abraham, David, Moses, and so forth. To the question about whether they were circumcised, these people answered thus: yes, just like our ancestors. In this same region were found stone knives used for circumcision. Sharpened stone knives are mentioned also in the Bible as special instruments for completion of the rite of circumcision. An Argentinian tribe where a stone slab with 3 commandments was found causes no less interest. So you see, besides them having names, because again, remember what these devils try to teach people, that the Indians found over here by the Europeans were savages and had no relationships to the people of the European nations, which is a total farce, because it tells you in 2nd Ezra 13 and 40 that those were the 10 tribes that had basically been taken to captive to Assyria, but then later fled over here to the Americas. Now us 10 tribes, the Latinos and Native Indians, we were over here for over 2,000 years before we were found by Columbus and all the other Spanish and Portuguese who came over here. Now in this case here, you had a Jesuit. Now the Jesuits, for the most part, those are the people ruling the Vatican right now. The Jesuit order, for the most part, are Satanists. They're hidden Satanists, but they don't like to explain that to their followers. Now the point, besides the names, that how could they explain that a nation that had no connection to the old world had the same names as the old Israelites, right? There's no explanation for that, man. These valves didn't just put themselves together. Abraham, David, Moses, and so forth. That didn't happen. Just like in the tribe of Judah, the so-called Negroes, you always have names to this day of that are related to the Bible, man. And this was before, slavery. So you can't say that it was because they were taught the Bible in their slavery, man. Salaki. Now, the other point made up in this article talks to you about circumcision. Now, circumcision is something that is not common amongst the world. This is not something that the world has gone to naturally. This is something that only peculiar people have done, namely the Israelites. And it's carried over to certain other nations today, but mostly it started off with the Israelites. Now these people here, they said that they were circumcised just like their ancestors, because again, this was a rite, and this rite was told in Genesis 17 and 11. And ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of a covenant betwixt me and you. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generations. He that is born in the house, or bought with money of any stranger, which is not of thy seed, he that is born in thy house, and he that is bought with thy money, must needs be circumcised. And my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. So you see, these native Indians of Argentina, they were keeping that covenant in their flesh as they had been taught to by their ancestors, which goes all the way back to this very point right here, from when Moses, when he had received this covenant, but he received this covenant from the Most High, and he commanded that we all keep it. Now, just like Apostle Gabar has says, man, it is very important. It's a very important act that you do this, that you circumcise yourself if you can. Now, it is understood that not every brother can afford this. You know, I myself had to take that step and had to you know, find a way to get this done, and it's not that painful. You know, all you got to basically do is go to your insurance, claim that you need it, and, you know, and pray for it, man. The Lord will find a way. But as Apostle Gabar said, again, it's very important that you get this done, because it is a great show of faith that you do this if you're not already circumcised. Now, but again, as Apostle Tahar says, let every man be convinced in their own flesh. So again, this is a choice that you're going to have to make. But either way, I digress, Salaki. But just like as it tells you in the Bible that circumcision was something that was going to be kept by the progeny of the children of Israel, or the descendants of Israel, so was it commanded that we continue to do so, right? And that's why the Indians were found to be doing those things. Now, back to the tribe of Naphtali. Now, before I read that, I want to read another blessing that Naphtali will receive. This is Deuteronomy 33 and 23. And of Naphtali, he said, O Naphtali, satisfied with favor and full of blessing of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, possessest thou the west and the south. Now, that one thing about that is that when you look at where Naphtali basically occupies today, they're basically in the west and the south of America, man. You know, so, and they're full of blessings, because, like I had said, they had never managed to be conquered by the invading European forces during the European invasion here in the Americas. They had always managed to fight off the invaders when they would settle the settlements in the land of Naphtali. Now, so that's another spiritual trait and blessing that was given to the tribe of Naphtali, that you would be able to identify them in the end times with. Right? Now, another thing about the tribe of Naphtali, within their borders was found this special bowl. Now, this bowl is called the Magna Bowl, or the Fuente Magna Bowl. Now, the crazy thing about this bowl is that it had Assyrian writing within it. A lot of people know this as, or refer to this as, Babylonian writing, but it's the same thing. Assyrian and Babylonian, they're basically one and the same. Now, to this day, modern archaeology does not have an explanation of why an ancient Argentinian bowl would have the Assyrian writing on it. But we can tell you exactly why, man. Because the Argentinians are of the tribe of Naphtali of the 12 tribes of Israel, as it foretells you in 2nd Ezra 13 and 40 again, right? And the Argentinians and Chileans, they are of the tribe. They are just like the other Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians. They are the Israelites of the Holy Bible, who are the direct descendants of the Israelites, making them the biblical Israelites, not those fake Israeli Khazar imposters who call themselves the Jews, who are in the land of Israel right now. These are the true Israelites here in the Bible. So hopefully this video was edifying, Akim. Hopefully this gives you more understanding and proof that the Indians are the Israelites spoken of in the Bible. Until the next time, I want to go ahead and give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Ruach. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect. Shalom.